right. Good God, that camera is horrible. It is really, really bad. I had no idea it was so grainy. All right. So I'm hoping I can get this video out in eventuality. I know not many people are going to watch it right now, but I do hope that this video gets shared because there's information here that is for all patriots and militia. So I've got a few things I want to talk about and get into, but let me see here. Hey, Angelia, what up? Can you hear me? Is the audio okay? Put my glasses back on so I can see you. Man, I'm glad you're here. I needed somebody to tell me. I think it's just you and me. So we're going to have our own video here. Good. All right. Good. Excellent. Okay. So here are some things. And again, I know there's not going to be a lot of people here. And Angelia, I think it's just you and I. There's a case right now that a lot of people are aware of, and this is what I'm going to start with, even though there's many things that I want to do updates on. And that's right. Snoop Unite. I want to close this out after the updates with something else entirely. So a lot of information to go through. I'll go through it as quickly as I can. There's a case involving patriots in Michigan that I am very closely involved with. I'm speaking to a lot of people working on this case, defense attorneys, private investigators, as well as media that call me and everything. So it's there's a lot going on right now concerning this Michigan case that they're not telling anybody about. So what they did was they knew that these guys in Michigan were militia. Now, forget about the charges. That this is the charges for kidnapping Governor Whitmer, Manface. And forget about that for a second, because those were the headlines, but those are not the charges, which tells you something's wrong. They gave the media sensational headlines, so, kidnapping and blah, 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 blah. Not one of them are facing any, kidnapping, attempted kidnapping charges, nothing that even relates to Governor Whitmer. That's the first problematic thing. But what you guys really need to know is that they just charged, they bonded over in the preliminary hearing. So what happens is the prosecutor's office says, here's what we want to charge them with. And then they have a preliminary hearing to see what charges the judge thinks are going to stick and what makes sense. And this is how bad their case is, that they said was a concrete, foolproof case. They charged them with gang activity and gang membership. They know that they're a militia, that they're not anything to do with a gang. But they said that they fit those qualifications, and therefore now if you're militia and this passes and this goes and they're found guilty on this, because the gang activity charge, they also got charged with felony gun possession. If the gang activity charge wasn't there, there is no felony gun possession charge. So the gang activity charge was what solidified everything. In the preliminary hearing, the judge threw out domestic terrorism charges. So they kept the gang activity. What they're doing is they're, after this case, if this goes and this passes, they're going to make sure that if you're in a militia, that you can face gang charges. And that's what this is. That's what this is about. It's nothing else. They're trying to make sure that if you're in a militia, they can charge you with gang activity. And that's what everybody needs to know. Those charges were bonded over in the preliminary hearing, like I said, which then made the gun charges, the gun possession charges, a felony, because now they're charged as a gang. Everybody needs to be fighting this. Everybody needs to be looking at this. If you are somebody who is interested in wanting to know how to fight this, contact me. You can leave a comment under this video, and I'll try to reach out to you. Yeah, Angelia said the actual charge is gang activity. What they got charged with was gang activity and membership, and so that's why they bonded over the. It was immediate. As soon as that gang activity and membership charge was bonded over, they didn't even discuss the gun charges. There was no discussion in the preliminary hearing, not from the defense attorneys or anybody, because once the gang activity charges were bonded over, and now they're making militia a gang, anybody who had a gun, that's now a felony. So militia gets together and they meet and they do all of these things, and I can go through the case and I could pick it apart, and maybe I'll do a video concerning that. I don't know legally if I'm allowed to, because I'm in touch with all of these attorneys and everything, but I'll find out. And you guys need to know. You need to know what's happening. You need to know what's going on in this case. Like I said, they're going to use this to make sure that if you're a 3%er, if you're a militia, period, you're a gang now. And militia is constitutionally protected, not that they care. So that's the most important thing that you guys need to get out to people. That's why I said it first. I have these other updates I'm going to go through, but that's what everyone needs to know. So if you pay attention to no more of this video, that's the important thing I want you to know. At the end of the video, I'm also going to be talking about some really important things, actually. I just don't expect people to stick around that long. And it is an open invitation and discussion as to what do America's patriots do about the dichotomy of, people are going to burn down the city because of whatever. And the patriots know if they stand against them to try to protect the city, they'll be, arrested, shot, beaten, whatever. It won't be good. So I'm going to delve into that and talk about the very choice of, okay, what is a militia, right? The militia is the kicker on the football team, all right? They have one job: defense of the nation. That's it. They tried militia, and this is part of my effort as well. We've tried to expand the purview of militia to show the community, hey, we exist, we're here, and we're good guys. And in some of that, I think that people started to get a skewed view, a skewed definition of what the militia is and what it does and what its function is and purpose. And we're here for defense. It doesn't matter if we're defending it against our own police that are allowing people to wreck the cities, people that are told you probably won't be charged with a crime for busting out the windows and burning buildings. And if you are charged, those charges will be dismissed. That's, the National Guard gets called in to, watch and observe, and they don't do anything. And most time that the National Guard have been called into the different cities, they've been called in and to be unarmed as well. So the National Guard doesn't mean anything. The police are watching these people burn the cities, and militia has one job, and that's national defense. So that's what I'm going to leave for the end of the video and how it is we go about that, I believe. So again, first thing you need to know is that the Michigan Whitmer case it's overplayed. They overplayed their hand. They've lied on their own affidavit, at least in two places that I know of, where they said their confidential informants were good and solid and didn't have criminal records. That's not true. It's just flat out not true. The headlines say, I could go through it. I can pick this case apart for you guys for at least the next 3 hours. Trust me. I've delved into the research on this case because these are my friends, and I was at the initial meeting, and to see the worst case scenario play out right in front of my eyes, because I'm one of the people that says this government is crooked. This government is, they'll trump up charges on you. They'll do all kinds of stuff. But then to be right is a hell of a thing. It's not comfortable, and it's just not at all what you don't want to see. That you don't want to be right, that the government will trump up charges and they'll push a political agenda on a criminal court case, so that they can push other agendas. And then, you say all these things as a public speaker for years, and then your friends are arrested. You feel like you were almost arrested. You start looking at the case to see what's going on, that the police said was just concrete and everything else. And you see that they have a horribly weak case, that they've way overplayed their hand, and they've exaggerated. They've fit stereotypes, not facts. And I mean, it's just bad. It's very bad. It was everything I've ever said. And I hate to see the reality of it right in front of my face, because it's in front of your face too. And it's because it affects all of us. They're charging militia as a gang now in the United States, a constitutionally protected militia as a gang. And that's that. There it is, folks. There it is, so, Audrey Tracy Jennings, how are you? I believe we are the only ones here. You, me, and Angelia. So that's it. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I hope that if what I have to say is worthwhile, you guys will share this out, because we're looking at gang activity charges for militia now. And we all knew this was coming. And everybody knows a militia is not a gang. That's stupid. But that's what they're doing. So that agenda on a heavily politicized case, because of a presidential election and everything else, they gave it a lot of notoriety through the press and didn't even charge anybody with what they built the notoriety through. This is bad. This is bad, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that everybody needs to know about. So, Helena Gibson, good to see you. Good morning. Let me get into a couple of these other things that I just want to update everybody about, and give everybody an awareness of. And then I'm going to go back to that dichotomy I was talking about, of people want to burn down the cities and they get to do it with permission. And if patriots stand in the way, they get beat, harmed, arrested, maimed, murdered, and everything. But we only have one job, and that's to defend the nation against enemies, foreign and domestic. So what do we do? Where are we at? And I'm going to dive into that and what I believe needs to happen. So, all right, let's get these updates going. Warren County, Ohio. This is in the northern part, up by Akron, Ohio, the famous Akron, Ohio. The home, the starting place in America for the Ku Klux Klan, believe it or not. Akron, Ohio. That's weird. Another weird fact, people are talking about the National Rifle Association. Did you know that the National Rifle Association was founded 3 days after the Ku Klux Klan was federally officially disbarred? More interesting information for you. Warren County, Ohio, has worked very hard, a lot of good patriots, on getting a Second Amendment sanctuary looked at and passed, at least in the House, I believe, and doing just incredible work in Warren County. Incredible work to make sure the writing specifically also renders any federal legislation for guns null and void. So the state preserves its sovereignty and its right to govern itself. Federal government has no say. And, this is more proof that the war on states' rights never went anywhere. You may know the war on states' rights as the American Civil War, or the war of Northern Aggression, or the war, nonetheless, that was the war on states' rights. And it involved a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just states' rights, but that's what it was known as if you were in certain parts of the nation. So Warren County, Ohio, kudos to all of you. Well done. I believe Fairfield County, Ohio, is also doing this, following suit of many other states, cities, and counties around the nation, and kind of refining what it is that those other areas have done, where if the writing wasn't specific and kind of left a door open for more criminality or collusion, in these writings in Ohio that I've looked over, they've done a really good job of making these watertight and really preserving state sovereignty and states' rights. So if this is something that you're interested in, you want to check out what they're doing here in Ohio, also let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can throw a link in there. Chi-Town Mountain, what's up? Said they're going to Tennessee. It begins. Well done. Enjoy Tennessee. There's a group called Mass Facts, and we had to put on the side that effort because we found out there is a LLC'd Mass Facts, believe it or not. And you guys are not going to believe this. We had to figure out, like, legally, I swear to you, this is what's going on. We had to figure out legally if we could be the Mass Facts group, because there is a Mass Facts business. It's an actual business who, I'm not kidding you, charged people money for them to send faxes in their name or on their behalf, and send faxes to state reps. And they had like a bronze, silver, and gold package. You know, you send this much money, and you get, you know, we'll send out 4 faxes. You send this much money, we'll send out 10. You send out, you know, and really couldn't believe it, man. Couldn't believe it, because our effort was, we don't want any of your money. If you don't fight for this yourself, then it won't be done, you know? So we weren't, you know, that's, you know, anyway. So if you're with the Mass Facts group, that's why nothing has happened there. That's why nothing has gone on, because we had to look into the legality. I know you guys are going to be like, what, really? But yeah, that's the case. It's an effort that we really want to put forth, but it, you know, we didn't want to get sued in the process of it, where people are mad that we've stolen their idea or whatever. You guys know how it is. I am live. Sorry, I've got people blowing me up. So, the Mass Facts idea has just been put on the table for now. It's put on the burner so that we could make sure that what we were doing was legal. And I think as far as if we don't accept any money, we'll be fine. But who knows? We'll figure that out. A lot of people have thought that the Patriot movement is just done, you know. Well, that's not true. The National Patriot Summit is happening, and that'll be the end of next month into the beginning of the following month. And here at the end of this month, there's another Patriot event in Georgia. There's a Patriot reunion taking place in New York. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You may not have heard about a lot of these because of people being deplatformed. And they're trying to hinder our ability to network. So, sorry. But these events are taking place, and the Patriots are still standing. The militias are still standing, and we're still doing what we do. We're still recruiting. We're still training. We're still networking, and the events are still happening. So look into those. Find those events if you're interested in that. And then one more thing before I go into our dichotomy situation. So Mass Facts is one of the efforts that I'm working with and on. The Great Reopening for the U.S. is another thing I've been working on. I'm also typing up something for media. And then the Maga LRC is another initiative that I'm helping. And I believe that this is smart, because within these different groups, you have different types of people. And that's what I'm doing now, is I'm finding people where, and it's kind of what I've always done, but I'm doing it more overtly now, where if you're Maga LRC and that's the crowd that you're aiming towards, then I want to help you get your goal. And if you're a militia, patriot, watchdog group, not so much politically affiliated, have your own different opinions on things, then I want to help you, and I want to help you get to where you're helping, to get your people and networking with your people and then accomplishing your goals. Everybody's goals are pretty individualized per group, but everybody's end goal is the same, and that's freedom for all of us. So proper, actual, honest freedom, not commercialized corporate government media sponsored freedom. And, so when we're working towards that, we're looking at, it doesn't matter how you get there. If everybody's, going to the same place, then let's get there. And so I've been helping all of these different groups to do that. If you want to check out the Maga LRC, that's MAGA L as in Liberty, R as in Restoration, C as in Committee. You can go to magalrc.com and check all of that out. I am just popular today. So, okay, we find ourselves in a position that if we are, as patriots, like, okay, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. You may have heard that recently a police officer shot a 15 or 14-year-old girl. Excuse me for just a moment. Hey, baby, grandma's on her way to come pick you up. You okay? All right. I love your face. I'll see you soon. Bye. Sorry, that was my baby girl. So, Columbus, Ohio saw this officer shot this girl. And immediately, shamelessly, you hear people that live on the street, oh, you're going to pay for that, and just all the typical stuff that we've been hearing and that you hear in every city where there's been a shooting. And the police proving once again that the wheels of justice can spin as fast as they need to. How many cases, like, okay, George Floyd case, for example, right? The body cam footage didn't come out until the court hearing. Didn't come out. They didn't wait for court or anything in this case. Body cam footage was out within less than 24 hours. Why is that? Why? Where's the difference? Columbus saw that they pretty much thought that the officer was justified. So they released it. If police precincts or departments do not believe the officer was justified or believe that the public at large could look at it in some kind of controversial way where it could be a spark to a powder keg, they hang on to it. I think that's what we've seen. So they released it immediately. And then people saw that there was... he was probably justified. And he definitely saved this other girl's life. The one girl is reared back like this with the knife, and she's all she has to do is this right here, and the chick gets stabbed. She gets shot in this position. That won't stop people. That will not stop these shameless animals, these savages, from still wanting to destroy the city. Nothing will. Nothing. They don't care. They don't care. They went out that night, right? Body cam footage has been released. Still shots, still frames have been released. There's about 100 of these self-important nitwits that go out and block the street that night. I mean, so here's the deal. I would like to remind the patriots in militia that the militia is the kicker on the football team. They got one job. That's defense. Defense against enemies, period. No matter. Foreign and domestic enemies just as much as enemies from outer space. The point is that militia is the last line of defense. If all else fails, no matter the reason for the failure, we're here to defend. And that just makes all the sense in the world. Hello, you defend your home. If the police can't do it or are unwilling to do it, if the National Guard gets called in for an aesthetic purpose, just to stand there with big guns they're not going to use, in large vehicles that aren't going to move, no crowd control, no riot control, no nothing. and they're just going to watch the cities burn. They're just going to watch the cities get the windows shattered and everything. Then it's the obligation of the militia. That's our job. If the tax dollars fail to produce what it is they pay for, which is domestic protection for tranquility and pursuit of happiness, individual freedoms and rights, the preservation of natural rights to move freely and be safe while doing so. This is all just common sense, right? You're allowed to be free and safe. I mean, that's okay. You can have a police force that runs around and catches bad people, when they stop doing that, when these are planned, when this is a Marxist revolutionary type thing where they've done the public shaming, going into restaurants, yelling at white people, Pol Pot would be proud. When they block the roads, when they shatter the windows, when they start the fires, when somebody drops off the bricks and they're told you're not even going to be charged, most of you. And if you are, the charges will be dismissed. Those are our judges. That's our district court. The criminality goes all the way from the little savage stone throwers to the savage judges. You know what I mean? They're all anti-American globalist enemies. And some of them don't know, how far this actually goes. All they know is that they're getting their pockets lined and they could care less. That's the truth of our situation. So what does militia do? I can only tell you from my belief that I'm in Ohio. This is where I was born. I am a national of the Republic of Ohio, and I'll defend it. I will, right now, give all militia that hear my voice, that are outside of the state of Ohio, permission right now to cross into Ohio as militia. That is our prerequisite as militia. I cannot go into another state as militia without permission from their militia leadership. And the militia is every male that's able-bodied 14 years or older, 14 years of age or older, as it's written. So we have the right. We have the right to say to other militia in other states, I give you my permission to be here. And that's what I'm doing right now, is openly, blatantly, constitutionally, legally, lawfully giving permission to all other state militia members to come into the nation Republic of Ohio, the National Republic of Ohio, as militia. The reason I'm doing that is because even if I have to stand alone and die or get my ass whooped or whatever it is, I'll stand against it. I'm not going to allow them anymore to destroy my city. And I'll do everything I can to be wise about it, be safe about it. However, these people are coming from a position of confrontation. How peaceful can you be with people that are throwing bricks at you, throwing punches at you? So if the police aren't going to defend, if the National Guard is there basically as an ornament, I have no choice. Right? By constitution, by law, it's my duty. And it's defense against enemies, foreign and domestic. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to hopefully start an initiative, interstate national initiative for all militia to give all militia permission, interstate permission for interstate, interrepublic, internation travel. Open public declarations that all militia can travel as militia state to state. Here's the thing. This is completely legal It is completely lawful. It is completely constitutional. There's nobody else in the position to give militia permission other than us. We're the only ones. That's it. They're like, the police are not militia, right? They're police. They've signed themselves up by oath to give their allegiance to the state at this point. So police can be in the militia, absolutely. However, this is why most of them go to the Oath Keepers, because it is a little bit problematic for them to be an Oath Keeper for the state that has sworn and then be in a militia and say, yeah, guys, I'm in the militia. You know, you've already given your allegiance. And if you're an officer, the chances are you're probably also a Freemason. We've had problems with Masonic Freemasons that also are in the militia. And we're like, well, we got people in all kind of clubs. We just need to know that you'll actually defend the nation. So an officer, can't be part of the militia, but then like go start their shift or get called in because there's a riot because, the media called it a riot and it's actually just a Patriot event. Like, you're standing against yourself is what I'm saying. You're standing against yourself and your own people. So it's up to us. And we get the militia, if it's Kentucky, if it's Indiana, if it's Michigan, if it's Pennsylvania, and they find themselves in that position, then all of us have signed an agreed compact that says all militia are now allowed to interstate travel as militia. And if one of these states gets messed with, then they mess with all of us, all of the surrounding states, because Patriots aren't rich. Generally, we're not a very wealthy subculture. The ones that travel do. And then some of them really wreck their budget just to try to travel. If we know that there's a bunch of globalist, Marxist enemies doing what they've been taught to do, which is tear up American cities, and no one's going to stand against them, it's our job. That's what we signed ourselves up for, ladies and gentlemen. And who thought you were going to do it when it was comfortable or easy? You stand to lose. You stand to lose everything, including your nation, if you don't stand up, and you know it. You don't need me to convince you of that. So I say we get all the militia to agree to all militia being able to travel as militia anywhere in the nation, and a compact agreement that when one of these agenda paid, financed, planned Marxist crowds gets funded to go to one of these cities, that we don't turn into Minneapolis. We're just not having it here. We get it, man. We get it. We're up against our own government. We're up against our own policing forces. And we're the only freedom fighters. And the media's been taught and paid to call us every name in the book, other than nice guy, I suppose. It's really something, but you knew what was happening as a Patriot, as militia. You knew what was going on. When did you think this was going to be easy? I believe that we also need to be wise about it, that if there's a planned, riot that's going to happen, then we get ourselves together and we stay in communication. Here's the thing. Because nothing that I'm talking about is illegal, and it's totally appropriate. It's things that we should do and should be doing. And it also scares the crap out of our enemies. We can do it right in front of their faces. We can do it right in the open, right in front of their faces. We can organize it, and we can stay in constant contact with the police, even if it's one-sided, and it probably will be, where we're sending them press releases, we're sending them letters, we're sending them videos where we're like, hey, check it out. We're coming to protect the city. We cannot trust that your chief's position has not been politicized. We're pretty sure that's why we watched you guys do this before. So here's the deal, all right? We're going down there as patriots to protect the city. If anybody gets in our way or tries to prevent us from being able to do so, they are an enemy combatant. Period. End of story. That's it. That is all. Those are the rules. People are coming to destroy the city. We are stopping them. Anybody who gets in our way of defending what is ours, what is rightfully ours, and that should be defended, you're an enemy. You just made yourself an enemy. Congratulations. Now, a lot of people, let's take this a little bit further into where it's very uncomfortable. A lot of people would say, well, I believe that when you listen to the politicians that are openly talking about civil unrest in America and bloody conflict, and when you hear the media talking heads talking about civil unrest in America and bloody conflict, civil war, revolution, whatever it is here in America, that they, people believe collectively in the Patriot community that we're actually being pushed into that direction, that we're actually being pushed into conflict. And then it wouldn't be that hard to do, right? If we're men and women of our word that are here to defend what is ours and protect what is ours, then all they have to do is attack it, right? And now they've got what they want. Well, give them what they want. I believe that the arrogance of an agenda that has seen success everywhere, they've staked their claim, right? So they've taken over our media. They've got complete and utter total alchemaic control of our pharmaceutical industry. God knows that's the case. You take a pill in January, and then 3 months later, you're joining the lawsuit because one of the side effects was out of body experiences and it happened while you were driving and you wrecked your car. I mean, it's just, anal leakage, bloody eyeballs as side effects. It's crazy, right? It's poison. Well, nobody takes American food, right? No, we do not export our food anywhere. Why? Because it's been poisoned, right? I mean, these things, it is what it is, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we know this. And we're ready for it to stop. We're ready to stand against it. We can't see this going in a positive direction without our hands of involvement. No, I mean, there is nobody representing us, right? You have politicians that say, yeah, I'm all about you guys and blah, 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 and you're the best, and let me kiss this little baby, mwah, and then they get into office and they completely screw us. And we've seen it not just like in the last term, but for 2-3 generations in this nation. It's an obvious truth. The betrayal's right in front of us. It's just uncomfortable for us to actually willfully acknowledge, because then we're acknowledging our own weakness. We're acknowledging our own ineptness and our inability, right? So it's a lack of strength is what we interpret it into. It gives us feelings of guilt and shame that we've allowed this government to no longer be for the people, by the people. They took your vote. Over 80 million of you disenfranchised you at the snap of fingers and couldn't care less. It's exactly what despotic third world leaders do. It's no different, but now it's in a first world country. It's here in America. And now the rest of the world is real uneasy because they saw it too. And they're going, whoa, what are these Americans going to do? Because that's the mythical land of freedom, right? They got more guns than, if aliens show up on the planet, they're going to have a tough time with America. The rest of the world, sorry for you, but America's going to be able to at least shoot little metal hot things at them. I don't know if that's going to help us, but we're going to try. We're in a position that says, are you who you said you were? Because your nation depends on it. If that wasn't the case, it wouldn't have been written and it wouldn't have been established. But it's common sense that we are our own last line of defense. And when we see that, and everybody sees, right? I was talking to Charles Moreno, right? This is one of the 3 people responsible for writing the nation's threat assessment, right? The Anti-Defamation League, Southern Poverty Law Center, they listen to him. He's all over Fox, CNN, MSNBC, but he's also an international intelligence security consultant. The guy has a pedigree of 40 years of being, where he works for globalists. He said recently that militia and patriots are the #1 domestic terrorism threat in the United States. And I called him. I contacted him and I called him, and I said, how can you responsibly say that when we saw, 23 American capital cities tore up by BLM, Black Lives Matter, racist black folks, and Antifa? How is that? because it wasn't the Patriots. It wasn't militia doing that, right? It wasn't. And he couldn't. He wasn't able to. He talked around it. And these folks exist, and some of them actually believe in what they say, that we are the enemy, that somehow that's the case. I don't know how the wool got pulled over their eyes, but no more destruction. All of you that are lying, saying just some of the dumbest things that anybody's ever said or heard about militia and patriots being the bad guys, while you watch BLM marching in Washington, D.C., while there's National Guard still at the Capitol and the White House and all through D.C., they're marching in the middle of the street, disrupting everything, saying, we'll burn this MFer down. If that was, you don't know, you probably didn't even know about that, right? Let alone know the guy's name or face, but let a patriot say that. Next time I'm at a public event, I'm going to quote every single one of these terrorists that have said, from Madonna to the no-name BLM people. I'm going to quote them all. I'm going to say the things that they said, right? And see, and I'm going to let everybody know this is what they said, but I'm going to see how they take the militia out of context so that all of you can see it too. Knowing that I'm quoting what other people said, that firmly position themselves as our opposition. We see it. It's blatant. It's open. Will you stand? Will you stand when it's not easy? Will you stand when it's unpopular? Will you stand when it's dangerous? Will you do so in such large numbers that they cannot ignore you? That if, say it's Columbus, right? And we get Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Michigan here, and maybe a couple other states. And they show that they'll support us, that they'll stand and support us, that they'll help defend the city. Maybe then these Marxists will stop trying to burn our cities down. Maybe if they see that they got to face us, and it's a damn lot of us, that we are regular, normal people that are sick of all of this, all these games these people are playing, right? There wasn't a shooting for the last year of Trump's presidency. Let Biden get into office for like 65 days, and there's like 100 damn shootings or something. It's really ridiculous, man. Like, come on, man. We you know what I mean? There's people trying to tear the nation apart. There's people here that are willfully harming us. Please do not forget about the camper bomb that warned everybody it was going to explode in Tennessee on Christmas Day. You're not living in a safe time. You're being lied to about damn near everything. And the things you're not being lied to about, you're still being only told half-truths. There are people that hate you. There are people that want you to die. And there are people that will do everything and are doing anything they can to destroy this nation. You see it. You know it. So will you stand? I will. And I may lose heavily. I may lose everything to do it. But I'm going to stand. I have to. I know what we've lost, and I know what we stand to lose. And I'm unwilling to do it sitting down. Now, I believe there's a lot of people just like me. I believe that there is. I believe there's a ton of us. And I cannot make you find your courage. I can't speak anything into your existence. Not now. It's too late. You have to make this choice for yourselves. Everybody, you have to make this choice for yourselves. You have to choose to be free, and you have to choose to stand against tyrants to do it. People that will send your sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, heavily armed to quell you and stop you and stifle you and kill you and arrest you, imprison you, chastise you, berate you, defame you. There isn't anything you don't stand to lose. Again, including your nation, including the entirety of your nation. So, will you sit because it's dangerous to stand? That way, consequently, you sit out of safety, knowing the outcome is a loss of everything. Or will you give it a chance? Will you give your freedom a shot at living and breathing in your time by possibly having to take a shot. I wouldn't sell it short. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sell it short. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to say, hey, man, let's get our nation back and everything will be fine. It'll be safe. No, absolutely not. These are dangerous criminals that have used incredibly nefarious means, evil methodologies to stifle and harm an entire population against itself and each other. It's very, very impressive as far as evil goes. I mean, this is calculated, it's meticulous, and it's effective. In that, in all of that success, I believe that by all rights, these folks have grown arrogant. And again, by all rights, why wouldn't they? Everything that they've, every right that they've wanted to take away, every part of the culture that they wanted to either decimate or change, every goal that that they've set themselves towards, they've succeeded in. They've succeeded. They've won the day. I mean, they have the nation. You know, it's not yours or mine. It's not for us by us. It's definitely, something else, and a mere shadow of what it was supposed to be or should be. So knowing that we find ourselves here, we really are faced with simple choices as far as, what's happening, what you need to do, and it should be all of us, every single person that we can muster. Will we? And my answer to you is, I will. Even in their arrogance, I believe that they have sold us short. I believe it's just as appropriate that in all of their successes, that for them to grow arrogant, I believe it's also just as appropriate for them to be wrong. They got away with all of this. So they're sure that we're weak. They're sure that we're easily led. They're sure that we're dumbed down because they did it. They know all of this about us. What they're not counting on is our resolve. What they're not counting on is our strength. And that's what I know about us. That's what I see when I speak to crowds. That's what I see when I read articles and get into the videos of what's going on in the different cities, or how people are fighting against critical race theory, and they're just telling the simple truth that if you come at me with that monstrous bullshit, I'm going to call you what you are, and I don't care what you think you can or cannot be, right? You're a racist, you're a monster, you're evil. People can, talk about like the Hollywood Jews, and the Jews that took over the nation and the world, and, the Muslims, the horrible, bad domestic or, terrorist Muslims. And, listen, for me, things are simple. And this is what I have found with the majority of all militia, like everybody, right? Is we're actually the people who don't want anybody to die. Like, that's insane. Right? Killing people, dying, all of that, murdering is just, what are you doing? That is insane. It's not healthy. It's not stable. That's not who we are. We wouldn't be who we are fighting for what we're fighting for if that was the principle of our character in any kind of a way. Right? That's completely inconsistent with every single Patriot event you see in the nation. Doesn't exemplify that lack of impulse control or extreme behavior. To the contrary, when we leave the grounds where we have events, they're cleaner than how we found them every single time. We're like Japanese about it. We really are. We're ridiculous. And that's because of how we want to present ourselves, how we want people to be able to associate to us is people that have respect. We're definitely not the lunatics that want people to die. So if you're fighting for preservation, that's the opposite of destruction and death. I mean, death is destruction. We are the preservationists. So we're not like, let's preserve the nation by killing. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. It's insane. All of the stuff, all of the ideas that they try to sell all of you and I on. It makes no sense. I mean, it just makes no logical sense. When you listen to us speak, that's not who we are. So if we're the preservationists, then they don't view us as the people that embrace aggression or violence or animosity or whatever is like negative in that that type of a way. They don't see us as that. They see us as the easily led sheep, and that you can just lead to the slaughter. Why wouldn't they? They have every reason to believe that. They have every reason to have sold us short and believe in their own arrogance and believe in their ability to continue to call on our own policing forces to shoot us. But the thing is I disagree. I think that if all militias nationally announce that they've given all militias in every republic, right? So the Republic of Idaho, Iowa, Ohio, everywhere, the ability to travel freely as militia, and then make a compact to say that if it pops off in your city, all of us go. Everyone who can make it, we all go. Even if you're not in the militia, you're just a patriot. You're a Trump supporter that wants, to see the nation be what it's supposed to be. We all go. We all go. Because the ramifications of our actions, just as much as we could look at something negative, could also be the springboard for a free nation. And consequently then could also be our actions equating into a free nation. If they've underestimated us and they've made us weak, then they have to show their hand once they find out they're wrong, right? Which means you either have to send our own people to kill us or bring in foreign interests. Neither of those will work, because the second part of what we do is we inundate the police stations with, "We are not your enemy. We're the patriots. We're the people that are trying to make sure this is a good place to live. We've seen how your positions have been politicized. It is what it is. It's not up for conversation or debate," right? We know. We've seen it. If that wasn't the case, 23 American capital cities wouldn't still have plywood over the windows, making us all look like third world shanties. That's it. It just, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't follow. So we know, everybody knows that that's what's happening. And that's what's happened. That these people don't get charged. If that's the case, then where are the convictions? Tell me, where are they? Who was it? In which city? From which one that got burnt? From which one that had the windows busted? Where? Because it's in DC. It's in Ohio. You know what I mean? It just goes on and on and on. It's in the nation's capital, as well as Midwestern states like Ohio, as well as states that are further out west, as well as states that are on the coast, as, blah, da, 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 da. We're just not going to allow you to burn down our nation. We're not going to allow you to destroy our infrastructure. And at some point in time, you had to understand that we will fight, that we will protect, we will defend. That's what we're here for. You keep calling our bluff because we are peaceful. And you've mistaken our peacefulness and our ability to endure and our belief in a civil living moral standard for weakness. When we're your nation's workers. We're your nation's veterans. We're blue collar just as much as we're white collar. We're thinkers and we're physical workers. I would pit American construction crews up against any foreign army in the world. Good luck. Good luck. You want to mess with framers that swing hammers all day? That's who you want to fight? That guy with a forearm the size of Popeyes? That's the dude. What about the mason workers? What about the carpentry guys, right? What about the electricians that have been zapped by electricity a million times? What are you going to do? Hurt the guy? Come on, man. I'd put our construction workers up against any foreign army. This is why I believe in our strength. We don't need all of us. We really don't. I mean, it kind of demoralizes people, right? They're like, "Oh, well, these people don't feel the way that we do." Well, that's okay. They don't have to. Those people have always existed. And guess what those people did when the founders of this country gave them a country, right? These were loyal British citizens on freaking Tuesday. Then they ratify the U.S. Constitution, right? The Articles of Confederation and everything, and gave them a nation, gave them a republic, a constitutional republic. And that on Tuesday, they were loyal British citizens. On Wednesday, they were like, nah, I'm American. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So these are the same people that go along with anything, right? They're going along with the tyranny. They're wearing the masks. They're separating 6 feet. They're, wearing 2 masks. Next, it'll be 3. Then it'll be a bucket. in a cage. These people are just messing with us, man. They're laughing their asses off. How many times, how many politicians, have to be caught on video where they're telling everybody, mask up, mask up, mask up. And then they're at a 30-person dinner sitting there chilling. You know what I mean? Ha, 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 the stupid peasants wearing their masks, blah, blah, blah. Those fake syringes giving politicians vaccines. Come on, man. No. Since when did the government become trustworthy? When did that happen? And now they want to force a vaccine and give a vaccine passport. We're standing against all of it. We're standing against all of this. All of this. When we say we want our nation back, what we mean is the individual rights and freedoms afforded to every national that is living in a constitutional republic, man. That's all of us. Sorry that they told you we were racist, but it's everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yellow, brown, dark brown, beige, caramel, white, extra white, super white, see-through white, yellowish, bluish white. You know what I'm saying? All of us, sorry. I know we're supposed to be the racists. I get it. We're supposed to be the lunatics, the hate-filled people. As it turns out, we actually just want our nation back, and we want peace, and we want government out of our lives and leaving us alone because they're insane. Obviously, look at what they do. So I know you've heard all kinds of things, but it's not true. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. We're regular people. We're normal people. I'm a dad. I didn't go to school on how to be a revolutionary or a freedom fighter. I don't even know if those courses exist. And if they do, they're for Marxists and communists and socialists. I've been called a Nazi. Nazi was a slang term for Nazi. It was National Socialist, right? National Socialist. I couldn't be a Nazi. I'm anti-socialist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all for socialism, communism, fascism, Marxism. That's not me. Blatantly and openly, all of us are originalists. We're constitutionalists. We're freedom fighters. We're revolutionaries. And now we're domestic terrorists because the government said we were. Well, you know what? Fine. That's okay. I'm a domestic terrorist as well as a dad and a constitutionalist. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever. It doesn't matter what they say. I'll be whatever these criminals say, in accordance to them and their fan base, right? The people, the zombies that they've inundated that are just like, listen to everything the television tells them. Fine. All right, cool. Then that's you, But for us, we just want our freedom back. We just want our nation back. My child right now, I'm not making this up and I'm not exaggerating. I can read it to you if you guys want. Tell me and I'll do it on another video. I'll read you the book where this is in school. This is curriculum. It talks about how white people are weak. White people are boring. Black people are stronger. Not kidding. Straight up racism. Just racist. And you see the anti-white agenda. All right, cool. I'll be weak. I'll be boring. You call me whatever you want. Hope like hell you don't have to fight me. All your names aren't going to mean anything. Those names aren't going to help you win a fight. You can say, oh, you're this, that. Okay, all right. That's what I am. But you might change my moniker if we have to fight. You might call me a son of a bitch or something, Just saying. These people are so weak, it doesn't matter what they say. And they're so fraudulent and so criminal that they can label anybody anything. It doesn't matter. No one's listening. No one of any good reason or sense. And that's why that part of that silent, they're called the silent majority of the population. Man, look, don't worry about those people. Do not think another second about the silent majority. Just as long as you are not them. That's the only thing that matters. That's all that matters. So do not, be silent. Do whatever you can. Use your talents, use your skills, use the internet, paint, draw, sculpt, write, do poetry, write stories, write fiction, write nonfiction. If you're a speaker, speak. If you're whatever you are, do what you are and contribute that to this being a free nation. It's time to get creative, imaginative, ingenuitive. Let's not just creative signs, but let's create situations and scenarios where we get together and we tell one another all the patriots, all the militia. As militia, you are allowed to cross my state, my republic lines. You know, you can come right into Ohio as militia at any time on your own recognizance, as you see fit. You know, and also let's make an accord that says, if the Marxist communists, you know, try this in your city, we all go. Everybody, all of us. We go to every VFW, Moose Lodge, AMVETS, and we grab every veteran we can. We tell them what's happening. This is what's going on in this city, and we're going to stand against it, and we're going to defend that city. We go to every conservation club. We go to every auxiliary club, you know. And if the Freemasons are who they say they are, then go to the Masonic lodges and tell them this is what's cracking. Go to the police stations and tell them we're not your enemy. We're defending. And I'm not up for conversation about it. I'm not up for debate. I'm telling you, this is what's happening. We've already watched you guys let the cities burn. All right. You want to get in our way and be an enemy combatant? That's on you. But we're telling you right now, we're not a bunch of criminals, and we're not going to allow our city to burn. Period. End of story. We will use whatever means are appropriate to stop and end that critical threat, because we're here to defend the nation. It doesn't matter what Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what well-funded networks say. It doesn't matter what your mayor says. It does not matter what your governor says. It does not matter what your widow chief of police says. Okay? Doesn't. We do not care one iota for the words of those that have betrayed us. Who do you think we are? What do you think we are? And no matter what the answers are to that, you're getting ready to find out. That's what I believe. I believe that all of this talked about bloody conflict and revolution and all of this, that they probably are pushing us towards some kind of conflict. And it'll be the last thing they do. Straight up, I believe this. I really, really do. I believe that they're probably right. They're probably pushing the American people into some kind of conflict that they're going to try to use for their purposes, and it will not work. It just will not work. As far as public relations go, they're going to lose immediately. Because if you have militia and patriots and veterans and everybody, retirees and 20-year-olds and everybody reaching out, you know, saying, listen, this is the city that's going to be attacked. We're going there to defend it. We are Americans. We are not terrorists. We were born here. We're going to stop the terrorists. And they're well-funded, well-organized, well-structured, well-planned agenda, you know, well-rehearsed through the media agenda. And we don't care what you say. None of you. It doesn't matter. You could be the chief of police, you know. You can be with the FBI. Oh, you know, you can be whatever. You're losers if you stand against us, and you know that. You know that. So do not stand against us. Do not follow unconstitutional orders. Do not follow unlawful orders. Do not follow immoral orders, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it that I'm the one espousing this position? You know what I'm saying? How is it that I became some kind of moral compass? That's ridiculous. Absolutely. So, but you also know that it's true. It doesn't take away from the message that if you are standing against your own countrymen and women who are there to defend the city from being destroyed, you're a piece of shit. You know it. This doesn't have to be, you know, sold or advertised or anything. You're aware of your position. So, you know, again, if we sell out or if we send out those press conferences, you know, to the press, to the media, to the police, if we're contacting them and saying, this is what we are doing. We know that they're coming to destroy the city. We know that the police will not stop them. We know that the National Guard gets to sit there and look pretty. We're not going to allow it. Those are the terrorists. We're the Americans, and we're going to stop them. I believe that's the position we all have to take. I believe that it is absolutely appropriate. It is prudent. It is what is necessary, and it's probably pretty timely. I'm going to put my glasses on. I'm going to see what you guys have been saying. See if I can get into some conversation. Oh, I appreciate y'all being here. Good God, I've been on here running my mouth for an hour. Yeah. Helene Gibson said, that's exactly what's happening and going to happen. They need this race war to push their agenda. You're absolutely right. That's why you see the anti-white agenda being pushed so hard. So we go out there and we're like, okay, check it out. Y'all have a racist ass anti-white agenda, and you call all the white people racist, which is hilarious. We don't care. Call us what you want. We're there. We're going to defend the city. And if you have a problem with that, you're an enemy of my country. You should probably go ahead and be dumb enough to present yourself to the United States militia as their enemy. Please. Absolutely, please be the governor, be a police officer, be whoever in the hell you are that's dumb enough to do it, but we appreciate it. That's for sure. And they want to do it wrapped in race. You're absolutely right. We just don't buy into it. We don't care. You know, we show up, and again, we show up in every shade of human. You know, we're freaking Chinese. Do you guys get that? We have Chinese people in our stuff. Do you get that? Like Spanish folks and, you know, German and, you know, whatever, dude, because we're Americans. We're mutts. We come from everywhere. And then so it's everybody in the freaking militia. It's just common sense, man. So they can go down there and try to yell stuff at us or whatever, and that's fine. They want to try to fight with us, and that's cool because they'll lose. They want to try to destroy the city, and we'll stop them. So there's that. News Free for America says that the Texas militia don't do meh. And you're going to find that right now. That's why I'm, presenting this as an idea that I believe is absolutely appropriate. You know, let's go ahead and take the time to say that everyone can travel now as militia. And if anything happens in your state or my state, we all get together and, quell that Marxist uprising. It's a lot of these militia and everything have gone into being very quiet because they see what's happening. They see how we're being targeted. And, that's kind of, I look at everything as in an algorithm. And that's kind of the natural part is you go through, like being suppressed and oppressed, and then you kind of come out of it with your attitude. And then, get beat down again because there's more arrests and erroneous, nefarious, stuff going on. And then you fight out of it again. And it's our responsibility to continue to fight out of that. The stigma that militias, because most are fat, that's a stigma. Definitely not the case. You know what I'm saying? I'm militia and I'm actually just a bag of bones. So there you go. So the Michigan case concerning Whitmer, they have now charged those guys with gang activity for being in a militia. This is what they are going to do to all of us. As soon as that passes, as soon as they're convicted, everybody's in danger. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be Lightfoot, you could be Minutemen, you could be 3%, all of it's gang activity. So you got to contact the judge concerning that case. You got to contact, it only takes a couple minutes of research anyway, but you got to contact the lawyers concerning that case. These are people too, man. They're just like us, and let them know that's bullshit, that's a crime in and of itself to charge those people with gang activity, knowing damn well they're not in a gang. What up, Gillis? Good to see you, buddy. So I'll end it there, man. The stuff that's going on in Michigan is a very big deal. And what I believe we need to do for the states and these, people wanting to burn down the cities because something didn't go the way they wanted. Somebody got shot who's usually almost always, and everybody's seen this, right? Somebody gets shot. It's a black person. It's a white cop that shot him. And they tug on everybody's heartstrings. And then as the case evolves, you find out that person was a complete and total loser, criminal piece of crap, drug addict, right? The one guy had his gun to a pregnant lady's belly, and they're giving that guy sainthood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just disgusting to watch. And, we want no part of it. These people are savages. You can barely call them people. And it's disgusting. It's shameful. I love saying it, by the way. I love telling the truth about that situation. I love speaking the truth into the ether so that people understand that there are people that are not afraid, absolutely not afraid. We take joy in the opportunities and in the ability to speak the truth to everybody, because when you're being inundated on the other side by media and everything, and they're always saying like capital insurrection and blah, 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 and it's all just a bunch of lies. You've got to have, people that come along and just say what the truth is, that everybody's thinking and feeling, but nobody is saying. Those people should be ashamed, but they're too stupid to be. They're too easily led to be. They love to hate, and they do not want peace. We're the only people that want peace, it seems. I can't find any other subculture that's like, whoa, we need peace, you don't find it in activism. You either find the patriots that want peace. This is what I found. You either find the patriots that want peace, or you find every other group bitching about the patriots and government. I mean, it's amazing. And they talk about all these radical ways of doing things, and, we'll burn this MFer down, and, all of this. And the patriots are like, hello, you're calling us terrorists, and you actually have people like Madonna and BLM and Antifa over here committing acts of terrorism, right? And saying terroristic things. And we're the terrorists. And then you look at the Michigan case, and you see this is what's happening. So I might do one later, but I appreciate you all being here. And I appreciate if you guys have, a liking to what I say, then you use the words, and now they're your words and your ideas, and they know they don't belong to any of us, and you put them out in the ether, and you get people to talk about that narrative. So hopefully this will be shared out and people will think about it. So I appreciate it.